Hey guys, welcome to Atari Series 7. I'm reviewing this, which is the Marvel Legends series X-Men Love Triangle Free Pack. Now this came out last year for the 80th anniversary of Marvel Comics. It includes Wolverine, Jean Grey, and Cyclops. So very cool pack here. It's dubbed the Love Triangle because obviously one of the most well-known love triangles, I would say in comic book history, is just between these three characters. And, yeah, I'm not really too big fan of that, but I do love all the characters included here, and really the only one I actually do own out of all of these is Cyclops. I have Weapon X, but I don't really have a Wolverine, so this was a great way for me to pick up a really nice version of Wolverine, while also getting two really nice versions of the characters, so pretty cool. I got this at GameStop Day. I traded in some of my old stuff, and I picked it up, and we got the X-Men logo there, the 80th logo. You got that 90s kind of style packaging almost, not really the 90s style, but, you know, made it look like 90s X-Men. On the side here, you have these trading cards. These were real trading cards back in the day, apparently, and they also give you, like, the first appearance. You got Uncanny X-Men 63, and then Hulk 180, and, yeah, Jean and Scott should be the exact same, because I remember they debuted in the same comics, but I like that they include that little detail. So yeah, let's open this up. And here we have the three of them out of packaging. And I remember that I think they made a Jean Grey in 2013. They brought Marvel Legends back. I think that's when we had gotten the latest Jean Grey looking like this. And I believe they recently also made a newer Jean Grey in Superman Back series, which I haven't picked up, and more than likely won't because I don't like that look of the character. Cyclops and Wolverine have had some recent releases in these designs, but if I'm not mistaken, the original Cyclops is kind of hard to find and did not include the jacket, and Wolverine has some new stuff on him too. Like I said, I've never owned one of these classic Wolverines before, so it's kind of cool. And I just never really got around to it, so I'm going to start off with him. But for starters, he's really cool. He's got the black and yellow tiger stripes. He's got the X logo there. He's got these shoulder pads, which do articulate, so if you want to move him up and down, he's got these molded hairs, and he has this kind of like a lighter skin here and darker skin on the outside. I'm not entirely sure why that is. I guess maybe they wanted to paint the hairs, but they didn't paint the hairs. So maybe they kind of like did that to kind of like show his hairs, or maybe like he's been fighting, because you do get this battle damaged head. But for whatever reason, that's a little strange, but it's still not too big of an issue. And then the really cool thing about this Wolverine is, and if I'm not mistaken, I believe this is the first Wolverine by Hasbro, and one of the first Wolverines to come out in a while that have ever done this, but they've given him the bone claws. In the 1990s, Magneto actually ripped the adamantium out of Wolverine, which is like metal, or not really metal, strongest metal in the Marvel Universe, but whatever. But yeah, so, and in its place, Wolverine had the bone claws, and they've appeared in a couple of the movies too, but they're not very well known. But I really love that they made the bone claws here, and they just look awesome. They're sculpted nicely, and I'm gonna be honest, I actually like the look of these more than I like his regular claws. But because Wolverine would not be complete without them, you do get a pair of adamantium claws too. So just in case you want the classic Wolverine look. Now these do have a little bit of a problem with staying together, and the reason why is they made them to where they're removable, so if you want to take them out and just have like normal fisted Wolverine hands, you can do that, but I don't recommend it. However, the bone claws cannot do that. But I love the option of getting both of the Wolverine claws here. I think that's really smart. And then moving down, you have yellow and you have the black and blue on the boots. And the head here is really good. So I believe this head was exclusive, and it's really nice. It's got this big angry expression for Wolverine. It actually comes off really easy, and I'm going to take it off to show it off in better detail. But he's angry, he's mad. You can see his hair poking through like he's been cut. You can see some scratches on the side of it, and you can see some bullet holes, because you have to remember, Wolverine, you know, he's pretty much immortal in a sense, so he can take like getting shot and everything, and I just love how they did this. It just looks angry and awesome and just so cool. I think it's one of the best battle damaged heads we've ever gotten. You also get this, which is the cowl, like drooped over, and what you do here is you just kind of like put it on the back of the character, and you can put in its place this Unmasked Wolverine head, which I think has been released a couple times, and I think it looks pretty good. You know, it's got the hair, it's molded nicely, and you just pop this onto here. And it just looks awesome on head. I think it looks great, the head on there. And I love, too, how the cowl just hangs over. And we've seen this in a couple times with, like, Batman. And even with these, I think they made them before. But I think it's a really nice detail, especially with heroes like Wolverine and Batman and Flash who actually pull their mask back, you know, something that's attached to their suit. I just always thought that was pretty cool. And I like that they've included that and given you that option here. And then lastly, you do get one more head for Wolverine. You get a classic on beat up version of the cowl that he can wear, and I think it looks really good here. He's got that big angry teeth. You know, Wolverine's mad. He's always mad, and it just looks good. And yeah, it's pretty nice. So really quickly, we're going to run through the articulation. And you got 360 at the head. You can look up and down. 360 the arms. Swing out the shoulder. The shoulder pads move, like I mentioned. He's also got butterfly joints, but mine are really stiff. I don't want to break them. You got a 360 there. Double joint elbows. 360 at the wrist. And they're on hinges. 360 at the torso. There's an ab crunch. The legs forwards, backwards, and outwards. You got a 360 the thigh. Double joint knees. There's a boot cut. And the feet move up and down and go side to side. So in terms of articulation, Wolverine definitely has a lot. And honestly might be my favorite character from this set. Up next, we have Jean Grey, and yeah, she looks pretty good. I like what they've done here with like this armor kind of like look. Instead of just painting it on, it kind of looks more like an armor, and I think it definitely looks really cool. The face design is pretty cool too. Green and the red, it looks good, and then the red hair is molded really nicely. I think this is the better hair sculpt. Some people like the ponytail look, which you do get included with it, which I believe is supposed to be a reference to the animated series of X-Men, but I'm going to be honest, I don't like the face as much on this one, and I think the hair looks better on this one. But if you do like that more, I do like that they include that, and this isn't partially based on the animated series. It's mainly, you know, just a release of these, but it is inspired by that in a sense. And then you got the little gauntlets there, the X logo, you got the little armor on the side, and for the most part, it's just like more mostly orange and blue going down. Not a lot in terms of color scheme, but still pretty cool. And in terms of articulation, you got a 360 the head. You can look up and down, 360 the arm, swing out the shoulder, bendability at the elbow, and you got 360 the wrist and hinges. You got that joint there, which moves, and then the legs come forwards, backwards, and outwards. 360 at the thigh, double joint knees, and the feet move up and down and rotate side to side. So in terms of articulation and detailing, I think it's pretty good. I think they did a good job with it. Like I said, I don't really like the ponytail haired version as much, but I think for people who really like the animated series, you're going to like that. And lastly, here we have Cyclops. So this is Cyclops in his jacket, and apparently he wore this jacket a lot in the cartoon, or at least a couple times over his suit like this. I don't know if he's ever worn his jacket like this in the comic books. I couldn't really find any images of it from the comics, but I did see some images online from the animated series. I did watch it a little bit growing up, but I wasn't as big into it. I was really big into Spider-Man, the animated series, though. But for whatever reason, I just never really got that big into the X-Men animated series. But he's got some nice details. This is the same Cyclops head we've seen before, but it's painted differently. But I don't mind that they use the same head because I really like the head on this. And you got it going to the side. You got his visor with the red. You got his face there. He's got darker colors. Again, that kind of looks more like that animated series appearance. He's got his little X thing there, which looks cool. X belt. I love all the X logos, especially on the sides. It would have been cool if these are molded on, but regardless, I think they look awesome. I like that they put these little X logos on here, and it makes it look different than just like a standard jacket. He's also got these little straps, and so far, since I've had this, these have not came down at all. That's a big problem with these Cyclops figures, and any of the figures that have these, that they like to go up and down, but so far on mine, maybe it's just because I haven't moved it that much, they're all staying in place, so I really like that. And then he's also got his yellow gloves, and yeah, and in terms of articulation, he's got a 360 the head. He can look up and down. He's got 360 arms, swing out the shoulder, 360 there, single joint elbows that move, and you got 360 at the wrist, and they're on hinges, 360 at the torso. There's an ab crunch. It's a little bit hindered due to this belt thing, but it's not a big problem. The legs forwards, backwards, and outwards, 360 at the thigh, double joint knees. The boots rotate 360, and as you can see what I was talking about with them coming down, but it does appear to be on this one better than I've seen on some of them, and better than the previous release, so I like that. And then the feet move up and down and go side to side. And for accessories, you get an alternative hand that allows him to do that optic blast pose that we always see him when he's about to activate his powers. So I think that's pretty cool. And you do get two alternative head sculpts, which I think are pretty cool. I think that's a lot to, just put on one of them. And both alternative heads, if I can get it to focus here, both of these have a different pair of sunglasses, so that's pretty nice. Obviously, they're red, and it goes over to the side, and I like how the hair is molded. The hair is done a little bit differently on each, but regardless, it still looks really cool, and I like how you can see the back of his sunglasses painted behind the ears. That's not really a detail they had to do, and one we don't see a lot, but I do kind of like it, and I think it makes sense, too, with him in a jacket here to give us, like, heads without the visor screen. I think that's kind of cool. And here's a comparison with the classic Cyclops that came out in the Warlock wave a couple years ago. As you can see, they mostly use the same body, but they use the jacket from Old Man Logan. The sleeves are new, though. I believe they're different sleeves. And the body is pretty much the same. It's just painted in the darker colors to represent the 90s and more of that animated series look. I'm going to be honest, I wish they had kept them consistent, but regardless, it's kind of cool. And I do kind of like these colors a little bit better. And yeah. And here's a comparison with Wolverine with Weapon X, which I'm going to be honest, I don't know a lot about Weapon X. I think he's supposed to be like an alternate version of Wolverine or whatever. But as you can see, they're in a pretty good hype range. They've got some nice detailings. And yeah, overall, I think this is pretty cool. Oh, and lastly, I did want to show all three of them off with... If I can get this in frame here, let's see, with the new retro Spider-Man, since these are all kind of 90s tire figures, just to show you how they look together. And yeah, overall, I think this free pack is really cool. I think you're getting 3 versions of the characters. For me, really the only character in this set I actually had was Cyclops, so to get Jean Grey and Wolverine was just really cool. I don't know why I never picked up any of the previous Wolverines. I just never was that interested in collecting the X-Men aspect. But I do like this Wolverine. I think he's cool, and I think he's got a lot of great things for him. If you do own a lot of the other Wolverines, you might not like this set because it is essentially the same thing, but you do get the new claws, the new alternative heads. I'm going to be honest, I absolutely love this alternative head, and I think I'm going to keep the bone claws and this head on it because it just looks amazing. Even if it's not the most common Wolverine, I think it looks pretty cool. And I like the Jean Grey and Cyclops. I also like how they tried to capture the animated series look for them because, you know, obviously that's a show that a lot of people like. I mean, it's a very well-written cartoon, and it has a huge fan base, so I think it's cool that they tried to capture that. And overall, I think this free pack was a really good idea. So thank you for watching. Please rate, like, and subscribe.